Hey there, and welcome back to Idle Weekly. Today's game is called Cracker Heroes 2, and this is the experimental version of 0.12. So, this is the Transcendence update. That includes as previously I talked about the Ascension mechanic, which is the first reset layer, where you collect world crumbs, and then these world crumbs you can convert into a damage boost at 10% each. And you need the starfires, which you get by beating a star system. So this is the new system screen. For me, most of the worlds will be the grass world, because I'm using the mixed worlds mod that I made. Yeah, the default icon has changed. Previously the default icon was the cave world, because that was the final world. But now for some reason the new default one is the grass world. I really do wish that I could control that myself, but it seems that I cannot. Or if they have changed it, then, well, I guess they have changed it because the icon has changed. But I don't know how I could control it, if it is possible. So that would be nice to know. Anyway, this is my current budget automator here, because when you transcend, then you start from the very beginning again. You lose your automator, you lose all the node stats, and you go back to a system 1, world 1, stage 1 or zone 1, and your character starts at level 1 again. For Transcendence you need the Empyrean motes, and those currently have a 14-day cooldown when you buy one from Rufus, from the ruby shop here. Currently they cost 1 ruby each. And you use that up, then your Transcendence level goes up and you start from the very beginning again, and you get hero souls. The amount of hero souls you get depends on the amount of star systems that you defeated. So when you complete the star system, then you get hero souls, just like world crumbs come per world. Hero souls come per system, and will wait for you until you transcend, so that you get them again. Now, transcending means that, what do you lose when you transcend? Well, first of all, you lose your damage boost from world crumbs. You lose all of your starfires. You lose the, as I previously said, whenever you take a node here, the node stats stay with you for the entire duration of the transcension. When you transcend, then those stats are lost. That's why I now once again have 0.5% crit chance. That's why my stats are so low again. But also, just ignore my current build order, how I'm putting the build together, because, well, I'm testing something. I'm trying to see that when I'm doing a terrible order, how important that ordering really is in the first 1 or 2 ascensions of a transcension. Currently it seems that it isn't super important, but it does hold me back a bit. The fact that I went for golden clicks so early, when I could have focused on multi-click. But otherwise I'm progressing fairly alright. The engine shards, that's I have 3 at V0.12 because, well, I left the game, I closed the game a few times with no automator. So yeah, that means I did no progress, but my game was still, my timer was still moving onwards. Anyway, you lose those stats, right? Another thing you lose is your automator. This stat disappears and you lose all your sets. I had a 3-set automator here in the experimental character. Or on the experimental character. What else do you lose? You lose rubies, of course. All rubies are gone. But the interesting thing is that the ancient shards that you bought, the game actually tracks ancient shards on a per system basis. So if, say, I now complete Star System with the 3 ancient shards, my ancient shards here will reset back to 0 when I enter World 31. But when I transcend and I come back to Star System 1, this will show 3 again, because it keeps the 3 ancient shards that I bought within the first star system. So you can basically stack ancient shards in each star system to make them progressively easier to complete for yourself, so that you can get through these faster and faster and faster. Well, because eventually it will take like tens and tens of ancient shards, because they are only a 1.1 times multiplier to your damage. But still, eventually you should be able to make your early game easy enough that you don't even notice it going by. But if you're a good enough player, then by the time you make your first star system easy, will be the time when you are beating World 800 already. That is like, I don't know, Star System 25, something like that. If you're a good player, that is. And you do great builds, not like this mess here. This is a terrible build, so don't follow me with this. Especially this early on. You should probably go with this corner first, and then choose another corner to go for. But not go this first. I just wanted to see how that will work out. And in this first star system it works alright. What you gain from Transcendence? As I said before, you gain Hero Souls. You can use Hero Souls 2 ways. First of all, you can upgrade each individual node. So if you already know what build you want to do, then you can upgrade each individual node on your way, if you so desire. For example, this here. Alright, that as well. Upgrades to an already purchased node will not affect the value received until the node is purchased again after ascending. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, if you already know what build you want to go each and every time, then you can just upgrade each individual node, so that you can eventually pretty much save Hero Souls. But otherwise you can go for universal upgrades, like for example this Transcendent Gold received. I have upgraded it to level 4, so my gold received nodes in the skill tree will be worth 7.32%, and these are these nodes here. This is a bigger one, but the smaller ones, for example this here, gold, increases your gold received by 7.32%. And the Mammon's Greed, aka the golden gold received, is 3 times that, so 21.96%, because this is 3 levels and this is 1 level. And if I want to upgrade this to level 2, it will cost me 12 hero souls. But if I want to upgrade this, it will also cost me 12. I don't know why they are the same. It does need some balancing, I'm sure. So eventually it'll change. The cooldown thing is also a current thing. It is in testing. The plans are to change it. Either keep it at the cooldown basis, or make it a star system base, as you need to beat a certain amount of star systems to be able to buy one. But in both cases they plan to increase it each transcension. That's what the transcension level is for. When your transcension level goes up, it goes up by 1 each time you transcend. You start at level 0. Then the transcension, then that means the next Empyrean mode will be more difficult to obtain than the one you just got, which is something I approve of. Back when the game had the guilds that were based on your level, so when you reach level 200 you guild it. There I hoped that they would make it so that you need about, I remember thinking that you need 200 extra levels each time. So first guild would be at level 200, the second would be at level 400, then the next one at level 600, etc. Because I think it is much more interesting when the reset layer's requirement keeps moving. That way the player is forced to learn the game to properly keep playing, instead of it becoming just completely mindless. You need to do some capacity of work or thinking. So even in many otherwise mindless games, if you want to get to the highest end content or highest end progression or whatever, they tend to require at least some thinking, because they are mindless as long as you don't do the most difficult content available. And in the case of Gregorius 2, well, with incremental games don't have to be completely mindless. And this isn't a usual incremental game, this is more of a linear action RPG, as I tend to call it. So it is nice that the challenge will stay. And also, the thing is that if transcension goals wouldn't move, then people would just go to the goal each time and keep transcending until the entire run that they can do is just one-shot mania all the way through. Because if you allow, what did I say to someone? I think I told someone that if your prestige is static, your prestige requirement is static, then that will make player prestiging also static. In the sense that when players are allowed always to transcend at, say, World 30, then most players will probably always transcend at World 30. They won't even try to go further from there, because that's where you can transcend each time. So with the 14-day thing, they will just figure out how far they can get in 14 days by one-shotting, and then they will just keep transcending there every time, forever. And that will just make the game boring for them, and they will quit, probably. Because they themselves made the game boring for them. But that's my take on it. And I have seen other people mention something like that as well. Now, with the ethereal items, I still think that they won't become relevant before about Star System 8, so about 8%. When their bonus is at 8%, then they will start affecting your gameplay in a more noticeable way. But I'm not 100% sure on that. That is just my take on it. I haven't done any maths or anything to back it up. That's the Transcendence update. So let's take this haste as well. When you transcend, you lose everything. Start from the very beginning. The wizard's automation, the rune coder, will stay. So, or the rune coders, I don't know if the rune coder itself will stay, but the rune coder's recordings will stay, so you don't have to re-record anything. You can just keep them, which is nice, because Wizard's rune coder is a bit different than Seed's automation. Seed's automation it makes sense. Basically, it makes sense that the Seed's automation resets, and I'm fine with it. I like starting from the very beginning again, and the game actually being somewhat challenging even at the very beginning. I mean, it is really easy, but it is something where you don't just one-shot all day every day. And actually, that's the cool thing about this update. That I was worried that this game is really about to become Clicker Heroes 1 2.0. And now that the Transcendence update is in, and I see what the Transcendence is all about, then I can say the worry was baseless. The game will not become Clicker Heroes 1 2.0. The game will keep its challenge and its variety and its fun. The progression is still a lot slower in the sense that it doesn't give you instant gratification or instant visual feedback because the skill tree is additive. But I think once you do a few transcensions, then the game will... then you will actually notice your progression. And you can also get the new skills from the skill tree or the transcension tree, for example Hand of Libertas, Downpour, which powers up the click torrent. But nowadays I really want to play around with the golden clicks. I started really liking golden clicks as I played with it in this experimental version. And I think they also removed the thing where ascending keeps your skill points that you went... Basically you have to use all of your skill points now, I think. And that's because they added the improved ascension thing. Increases the stat points available after ascending. So this gives you extra skill points now instead. But I'm not 100% sure about that. Someone mentioned something like that, and it is unconfirmed by the developers at this point, at the time of recording. So all I can do is test it out myself, but that will probably take a few days. But right now I will probably make my way towards Flurry, which will increase multi-click based on haste, although my haste is terrible. Oh well, it might work. But anyway, hopefully I didn't miss anything when it comes to the Transcendence update. Oh right, I did. There is a new world type. I can't show it at the moment, unfortunately. But there is a new world type called Astral World, And therefore I also updated my own mods, because now there is a new world. And they unfortunately forgot to include the Astral World special music theme, so I won't be able to hear that anytime soon. They will include it in the live build when this patch goes live. So then we can look forward to that one. That'll be fun. But I have seen one tile set from the Astral World, the official Astral World, and it looks great. I love it. The worlds are really fun in this game. They look really nice and detailed. Although it's still a shame that the Grass World has the only multi-phase boss. I really do wish they would add more of those. I haven't seen Astral World's boss yet, but going by the other bosses, that probably also isn't a multi-phase, unfortunately. Anyway, hopefully I haven't missed anything else, so thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer them, but otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.